You know, in a sense, everything that we've heard over the past 2 weeks has led to this. 30 senators are now behind closed doors deciding the political fate of the Texas Attorney General.
Yeah, the senators have been deliberating about 5 hours and counting in Ken Paxton's impeachment trial, and there's no limit to how long they can take.
Paxton appeared in court today for the first time since day one when he pleaded not guilty to accusations of bribery, corruption, and obstruction. To find him guilty, at least 21 senators must vote to sustain an article of impeachment. And even one article is enough to end Paxton's term in office.
Our team of experts have been providing gavel-to-gavel coverage from the beginning of this trial.
Senior investigative reporter Tanya Iser is in our newsroom providing context every step of the way.
But let's start with Teresa Woodard. She's live in Austin tonight. Teresa?
Yeah, Cynthia and Chris, as you said, 5 hours into deliberations now. Senators are not even supposed to have their cell phones with them. No computers, no laptops, no staffers, just 30 members of the Texas Senate in one room at this hour deciding the political future of Ken Paxton. They saw starkly different styles during closing arguments this morning. First, let's talk about Paxton's defense. It was loud, it was brash. They called the entire case a joke and said prosecutors proved nothing. They even mocked some of the witnesses who testified. They weaved this thread of conspiracy throughout their entire closing argument, basically just saying Nate Paul is just a guy who thought he was wronged by the federal government and that Ken Paxton just wanted that investigated.
Do we really believe that the federal authorities do not sometimes abuse people? Do we believe that? Do we believe that the FBI is always on the up and up? Do we really believe that the Department of Justice is always out to do the right thing? Or can we all agree that sometimes they pick and they choose who they go after? And when the federal government comes after you, you better buckle down. This guy thought he had been targeted by the FBI. And the only thing that this man did was, let's find out the truth. Let's see if that's really true. That's all he did. Because he knows a little bit about people coming after you with no evidence.
Okay, compare that style to what you're about to see from the prosecutors. They were pretty methodical. They played clips of testimony reminding senators of the evidence that they say proves Paxton did what he's accused of in each article of impeachment. State Representative Andrew Murr from Junction, Texas, did most of the closing. Remember, he's a Republican, as is Ken Paxton. Here's what he says is at stake.
You know, Mr. Kinghorn summed it up in his testimony yesterday. The office of the Attorney General of the state of Texas is Mr. Paxton's law firm, and he is the firm's only client. He directs it to serve himself, not the people of Texas. If you vote to condone that, then high office will simply be the most profitable choice for any self-serving crook, and it won't even have to be hidden.
So which argument, which style worked best? We certainly don't know, and we won't know until there's a decision. And when will we get a decision? We don't know that either. Now, I mentioned that State Representative Andrew Murr did most of the closing. He did not do it all. He handed it off to a North Texas State Representative, Jeff Leach from Allen, and gave him the final word. Let's go back to our newsroom in Dallas, where Tanya is going to talk to us a little bit more about the impact that Leach's argument might have had. Tanya?
That's right. I think it would have had a lot of impact. He's, like you said, a Collin County Republican. He's quite well known in this area. And it doesn't seem like it was an accident to have him be the final speaker. He also chairs the committee in the Texas House that oversees the Attorney General's office. And he started off by saying, none of us want to be here today. I don't. And he spoke about his close relationship to Ken Paxton, how they going to church, his support of Paxton, how they had campaigned together. And he talked about how when this settlement came to the Texas legislature to settle this whistleblower lawsuit, this $3.3 million settlement, how they had repeatedly asked Ken Paxton to come speak to their committees and how he had refused. Let's take a listen to what Jeff Leach had to say.
These remarks have not been reviewed by anyone. I didn't go to dinner with TLR last night. George P. Bush didn't have his speechwriter draft this for me. Karl Rove's not sitting in my office right now. This is me. This will, if you're like me, be the hardest vote, the most difficult vote, the heaviest vote that you will ever cast in your time in the legislature.
Yeah, Jeff Leach ended with a quote from Martin Luther King Jr. saying, calling on senators to listen to their consciences, to do what their consciences say is right. Back to you.
Tanya, they are continuing to deliberate. Any idea of when they might come out for the voting?
I don't think we have any idea on that. I think, but I do. The feeling is that they will come to a decision today. If for no other reason, then they want to go home for the weekend.
Our thanks to you, Tanya Iser, and our team of experts. Stay with us for complete coverage. As soon as those votes come in, we'll bring it to you on air and on our digital channels.